Well, hello and welcome to our backyard garden in the South Carolina upstate. This is the 4th of July of 2024. It's the nation's 248th birthday. We've got that sesquicentennial coming up in just 2 years. We're going to start hearing a lot about that in the next year or so. If any of you that were around in 1776, but in 1976, the bicentennial was a big deal, and we heard about it for quite a while leading up to the actual day, and I'm sure we will soon. In the meantime, we're going to talk about our garden. It's a beautiful day here, as you can see. Very nice blue sky with a few scattered clouds. It's going to be about 95 later today, but right now it's about 85. That's why I'm doing this now, so that it doesn't get too hot. And we're going to get started. Coming down our hill, we're going to really just focus on things that are in bloom right now and not really talk about things that are finished up. I do want to start with our big cleome here growing out of the concrete. Huge flower covered with bright purple and in some cases pink flowers. We've got a cleome forest here. I think I got out here just a little bit too late today. I should have come out an hour or two earlier to really show off the color. These tend to wilt a bit in the summer heat. We've got some more over here growing up out of the fire pit, but they're still doing pretty well. These just got into the sun, so they're still hanging in there. They look really nice. It's a unique, complex flower arrangement, but they do really well, and they obviously will grow just about anywhere. So this has been a real surprise to us, is how well they've done, all from seed, just from ones that we put in about 3 years ago, and they just keep coming back in larger numbers each year. Over here we've got our yellow knockout rose. Kind of having a little bit of trouble with black spot, but it is giving us some new buds, so we'll continue to get some flowers out of this. As it turns out, even though they're yellow, they tend to bleach to a white color very quickly in the sun. Over here, hydrangeas, now just about fully in bloom over the next few weeks. Huge bushes covered with flowers. Really a high point of the yard at this time of the year. Our neighbors have a more mature one that's about 12 feet in height right across the fence. It's not quite fully in bloom yet, but it will be soon. And so we've got a lot of color from those. And then, as you could see up here, we have a lot of Asiatic and Oriental lilies that are done for the year, as are the digitalis and a lot of our spring things. But we do have excuse me, we do have some more Asiatic lilies coming up here. They'll bud, or they're budding now. They'll probably bloom in another 2 weeks, I'd say. Those are ones that we put in this spring, so that's why they're a little bit delayed. And we have some more further down the hill that are doing the same thing. Got butterfly bushes here, still giving us a few flowers, but for the most part, they will be done soon. There's not much left on these to come out. Asiatic lilies here, some gladiolas here, Asiatic lily here, nice bright red color. More of the same here, doing really well, very pretty. We've got a knockout rose that was going crazy back in the spring, had a big white clematis on top of it, kind of wrapped around it. And since it finished up, we haven't really gotten much out of it except for that one bloom. And that's about it right now. Got a miniature knockout rose back in here, giving us a couple flowers, not a whole lot. It doesn't get a lot of sun. Begonias back in here, still some daylilies hanging on. They are getting close to the end. We still have some buds, but for the most part, these are going to be finished up pretty quickly. This is, at least here in South Carolina, this is primarily a June flower, and by the time we get another week or two into July, around July 10th or 15th, they'll be done. But I try to enjoy them, go out and look at them every day. And we've got impatiens back in here. These have been doing extremely well. Just the regular impatiens. Last year we had New Guinea impatiens that we put in along the walkway a little bit more in the shade, and they did not do well. They had done well the couple years before that, but last year they didn't. So we got away from that, just put regular ones in. They're getting a little bit of sun, not too much. Obviously they are just growing like gangbusters. They've probably almost doubled in size in the maybe 3 weeks or so since Jenny put them in, and they look fantastic. Back in here our stilbe are done. Again, it's a spring flower, all finished up. Lamb's ear, all just sort of hanging out now for the rest of the summer until next spring. Hostas back in here. I've got a wisteria back up against the fence. It's not exactly thriving, but it is alive. Sometimes that's the best you can ask for. Got some black-eyed Susans growing here. We've let those grow just wild over here in the mulch instead of the usual bed where they were before, and they're doing very well. Just starting to come out now. Usually right around July 1st is when you see that. Now this is our other big wisteria. For the most part, this is an April bloomer, but strangely enough, you do get the occasional blooms that will be just hit and miss over the next couple of months. We got one over here, one here that just finished up, and if you ever get a chance to come up to them close, they have a pleasant smell. It's not quite as delightful as some of the roses, but it's a pleasant scent. And we got more daylilies over here, primarily the lemon yellow. They're leaning over towards the sun. Get that off of there. There we go. Beautiful lemon yellow color. But these are getting close to being done, maybe another week or so, and they'll be finished up, sadly enough. It's probably my favorite type of flower in the entire garden. It always has been, really. My mother used to grow them back many years ago, and hers were just the standard orange wild kind that you find everywhere. We've kind of spread out and gotten a lot of different varieties. We probably have about 25 different varieties. Probably had twice as many at our old house in Ohio, and over time we're hoping to keep adding more to our collection. More Asiatic and Oriental lilies over here. Our big knockout rose with the blood red blooms doing still very well. We have not had to deadhead this one, and it still continues to give us a lot of flowers. Got a hibiscus here. Had a bunch of buds on it when we bought it. Kind of struggled a little bit with the new conditions. Good soil, but it wasn't getting enough water and a little too much sun. But we've been watering it like crazy. The plant itself is looking better, but it's going to take a little while to come back. I think it'll be okay though. Got some zinnias here, seedlings that Jenny put in from seed, and got daisies. Our big climbing pink rose here. Another climber, completely different type of climbing rose here, giving us lots and lots of blooms. Big bumblebee back in there under a petal. But this one has quite a few blooms on it. And then Veronica, another one of the favorites of the bee world. You can kind of see some of the bumblebees. Always, at any given time, you always can see a lot of bumblebees on this one. And we have some smaller zinnias in here, phlox, Sweet William, which is a variety of dianthus, doing very well. Nice yellow tea rose. We got a kind of lost back in here, but we have a pink rose, tea rose, doing very well. Daisies near the back in bloom, doing very well. They tend not to last very long. The flowers come out, they last for a day or two, and then they start to wilt. But today is a good day for those. And this one will probably do the same thing soon. This is the one butterfly bush that's still doing really well. This is a huge plant that we had put in about 3 years ago. It's the last to bloom in the yard, so it's still giving us quite a few of these deep purple flowers for another probably 2 or 3 weeks, and then it'll be done. And looks like just since last week we've got I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's, it might actually be part of the butterfly bush. Interestingly enough, I didn't know that these things can sprout sort of like trees. I'm learning that even as we speak here. You see that big, what looks like a tree standing up there. That's actually part of the butterfly bush. All this one plant. Interesting. So over here, we showed this off for the first time last week. This is where our trampoline was until a couple weeks ago. It was time to move that along, but we've put a lot of seedlings and other plants in here, a lot of begonias, some impatiens, zinnias in the back, balloon flowers, more zinnias, a daylily that's finished now, more zinnias back here, some marigolds in the far back. As long as they get plenty of water, they're going to do okay. Some more begonias back in here, and a miniature rose. And what else? This is a white knockout rose that deer ate right down to the ground last year. It's taken a while to come back, but it has come back, so getting some flowers out of that. Hopefully it'll regrow to some of its size. It was a pretty good sized plant last year before the deer ate it. Got dahlias over here doing pretty well. There's some nasturtiums in the back. Our other wisteria doing okay. Had some problems. One branch of it died off here. We had the same thing last year, but it came back, so hopefully it will come back again. Over here, gladiolas doing well, but as they tend to do, they get top heavy. But you get these bright orange, pink, and other colors. We had a bright purple during the week, which was spectacular. We cut those. It's the first time we'd ever seen bright purple color. And then one of our big mysteries for the garden is this sort of tropical looking flower. We don't know the name of it. Somebody gave it to us. If anybody knows what this is, feel free to put that in the message board, because it does come out in the summer and gives us a few weeks of beautiful color. It's just we don't know what it is exactly. Then we've got our weeping cherry back here. Just keeps getting bigger and bigger. We've got our biggest wisteria here. Needs to be chopped back. It's really growing up into the tree, which we don't want. We don't want it taking over anything, and if you leave it alone long enough, it will take over. Now, interestingly, I just caught this. I'm not sure even what this is. I'm assuming it is, well, it kind of looks like a tree. Let me see where it's coming from. It's just coming straight up. This is probably a weed, but it's got a bunch of blooms on it, so I'm honestly not sure what kind of, or not blooms, but buds. We'll see when that starts to flower in another week or two. I really don't know what it is. This is an area we have not done a lot of maintenance on, and so you get sometimes just out of the blue, you'll get something coming up like a tree, and it's hard to get back in here in the middle of summer without crushing a bunch of things that are actively growing. So we have had a tendency to leave it alone for the most part. Canna down in here, we've had a few flowers. When they do flower, they're very pretty, very tropical sort of flower, with the bright yellow and then the orange speckled throat. The darker variety is supposed to give red flowers. We have not had much success with those. Here we have some really nice flowers blooming with these light green ones. And then as we come over into here, we have a nice summer mix of daylilies, a more basic, although a complex type of daylily, but the basic stereotypical orange color, along with some early black-eyed Susans, and still some jasmine. Even though jasmine is primarily a spring flower, we have some of those blooming. And it's kind of the same thing, I talk about clematis, which is largely done, but we do have some that are blooming up here. You can see those pink flowers up on the fence. The Nellie Moser variety is still giving us some flowers, not a huge number, but enough to let us know that they're still around. And over in here, kind of the same thing, daylilies and black-eyed Susans, and a big climbing rose with the little tiny pink flowers. Kind of the same thing. We have 4 of them in the yard. One there, one right here that is just completely out of control, taking over the trellis, along with the jasmine. We've got some bright blooms here and some up on top of the trellis here. And then we have one over in this area and one up against the house. So we're going to head up towards the house now, finish this up. And this is a good day for this because we have this rose, just a standard tea rose, fully in bloom, covered with these blooms right now. Very, very sweet smelling, nice pinkish purple color. And it has quite a few more buds on it, so we're going to get more color before too long. We've got some more Veronica, got phlox, a nice yellow knockout rose here, a nice, actually a couple of nice gladiolus. What else? Just a mix, Asiatic lily right here. Our calla lilies doing well plant-wise. They're done flowering. Got our lilacs back in here, long since finished up, as they are a spring flower. Nice daylily here with the ruffles and the delicate color. Most of the daylilies through here are finished. We have a few buds left, but not a lot. We have a nice lavender rose over here. This one doesn't give us a ton of roses, but when they do come out, they look really nice. We've got the big pink climber here. It's really kind of taken over this part of the yard. Asiatic lilies all finished up in here. And then Jenny put in a lot more zinnia seedlings that she had grown from seed, and they're doing really well. We've kind of reorganized this part of the flower bed. Just kind of gotten weedy and had a lot of things in it that weren't doing terribly well. We had a little blueberry bush that wasn't doing a whole lot, so we just took that stuff off and put in some flowers that'll give us a lot of color later on. Then we've got our hostas here, and we're back to the top, back up to the Cleome Woods, Cleome Forest, I guess as I call it, and that's another week's episode. So thanks for watching. Hope it's sunny but not too hot wherever you are, and have a happy 4th of July, and until next time, happy gardening.